straight like that. Just told him straight up. You feel me? We in these folk trap. This man said, I'll beat you up. You know what I mean? And mind you, we are surrounded for the most part. This ain't our complex. You know, we a long way from home at this point. You know what I'm saying? You know everybody. You know my whole family.
The whole team.
Yeah.
100.
100.
Double salute. Wildlife 100.
Wildlife 100.
I've been in the trap every day, I don't get much sleep.
Wildlife 100.
Something so real, so real, you can feel it in your knees. I need something like you, do you need someone like me?
What's moving, everybody? Hey, man, you already know what's going on, man. I'm back again with another crazy story. This time I got The Day I Became the Plug, part 10, Trap 10, man. Y'all dropped Trap 10 in the comments on my last video, so I'm just here to deliver. Y'all already know what's going on. But look, check it out. Just a synopsis from the last video. Trap 9. Oh yeah, matter of fact, I need everybody to like this video, man. Hype the video up. Press hype, press hype, press hype, press hype. I need everybody to hype these videos up, man, so we can get in the algorithm as best as possible. You know, I appreciate everybody who has been liking, sharing, subscribing, and has been viewing and stuff like that. Y'all some real ones. But we gonna hop straight into the video. But just to give y'all a synopsis of Trap 9, basically, I was fronting some little guy named Corey. Well, he wasn't just no little guy. You know, he was like maybe a year younger than me. I was fronting him, and he just so happened to be the cousin of a guy named Noopy. He's the cousin of the guy that my brother Chop ended up fighting and making him pee and defecate on himself, right? And, you know, everybody looked at it like, you know, that's two men fighting. It is what it is, even though Corey belonged to a certain family that they stuck together. And you remember, I had my crew. I had my for lifers, you know, Chop, Bam, Brittany, Justin, my sister. You know, we had our for lifers on this side, and they had their for lifers on that side, you know, they family. So, you know, I didn't think too much of it when, you know, he came to me asking for a front, because we was all cool. Everybody was cool. You know, even after Chop beating up Noopy and stuff like that, you know, we all talked about it. Everybody felt like, you know, he had it coming or whatever like that. Just the fact that I stepped in the way and I tried to stop it before it got fatal, you know, I felt like people respected that. So I ended up fronting this guy named Corey. And as y'all know, on Trap 9, he ended up getting all his stuff stolen at school. It wasn't too much. I think it was like a half a zip or something like that. It might have been close to a zip or something. But he ended up getting all his stuff stolen at an after school event at Osborne High School, right? So we go up there to the after school event. Well, he leaves the after school event early. He comes and tell us that all of his stuff is gone. So we ended up marching back up there, you know, me and the crew. We marched back up there to Osborne High School, and we ended up getting into this crazy brawl. Crazy brawl in like the courtyard of the school, bro. It was crazy. Like, it was so crazy. Remember, I told y'all I didn't know how to get in. You feel me? I didn't, you know, everybody was just swinging everywhere. You know, it was too many people. It was just crazy. You feel me? Folks was swinging wild. Folks was falling on the ground. Folks was getting slung. It was just crazy. It was just crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it happened so quick. It seemed like they was fighting for a little minute, but you know, it always seemed like that when you fighting. But it happened real quick. And we ended up all fighting. The other side, of course, they lost. They got beat, you know, because I ain't gonna lie. Me and my folks, we ain't never really lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, them folks hit hard. You know I hit hard, but, you know, when you with a whole clique full of people that's on the same thing you on and ain't taking no L, bro, you ain't taking no L. You know what I'm saying? So we ended up getting them folks up out of there, and we went on back to the complex. Now, the next day, it was time to go to school. Everybody got suspended, bro. Everybody got suspended except me. Chop wasn't even going to school. But everybody that went to Osborne, they pulled up them cameras. Remember, I told y'all the vice principal that's supposed to be a vice lord, he ended up looking at all the footage, and he recognized everybody. He even suspended a couple people who wasn't even involved because they belonged to a certain gang. You know, like ties go deep with Shawty, you know, but we gonna get into that as we get deeper into the story, as far as with the vice principal and being a vice lord and all that like that. I don't even know how they allowed him to be vice principal. I don't know how that happened. But that's just what was going on in Cobb. Remember, I'm staying in Cobb at this time. You know, it's different out here. So we ended up getting suspended, bro. And, well, I was the only one that didn't get suspended because I didn't throw a punch. I couldn't get in, you feel me? So everybody else was suspended, right? And that was pretty much the end of that. They had a couple days out of school and stuff like that. I ended up skipping a day myself. One day, I ended up skipping school, and we all decided to walk to this basketball court. Now, we had a basketball court in Crescent Square, but it was like a ghetto one, right? It was just with one basketball goal, and it was just in the middle of the street or something like that. We used to play basketball right there all the time, but it was a real basketball court in the complex, like a mile off, 2 miles off or something. And we used to truck it. We used to truck it up there and just go play basketball. So today it just so happened to be all my folks and Corey and all his people, as far as his family, right? Because he used to go everywhere with his cousins. His cousins consisted of Noopy, a guy named Tony, and a couple other people. So we ended up going to the basketball court, and we all walked. We all walked up there, and we laughing, kicking it, having a good time. You know how it is when you young and you just vibing. You know what I'm saying? You walk from here to there. Walking used to be cool. When you young, it used to be cool. Like, it used to be a vibe. You feel me? Especially if you walking with friends. So we walked to the complex, and we started playing basketball. Now, as we playing basketball, remember I told y'all I wasn't fronting Corey no more. I told him that recently, and I knew he felt some type of way about it, but I didn't know how deep he felt until today. So we playing basketball, and I realized, like, every time I made a shot or every time I did something good, Corey would get more agitated with me, right? Like almost to the point where it got disrespectful, right? So I noticed this, so I started playing on it. You know what I'm saying? Cause I'm like, I know I ain't tripping, so I started playing on it to basically see if it really was what it was. And it was. I remember one play, I hit a jump shot, dead in his face, and he slick pushed me, right? As I'm going up, he slick pushed me. So I'm like, oh, okay, so you getting a little aggressive. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. So I just started talking a whole bunch of crazy stuff, like not disrespectful, but I just start like competitive stuff. I just start, yeah, you can't guard me, all this, you know what I'm saying? I just started popping it, you feel me? And I noticed he was getting madder and madder and madder. You feel me? Like, and on top of that, Corey, he was an athletic guy. Remember I told y'all he was short, stubby, he lift weights, he boxed, he played football, stuff like that. He was athletic. But as I'm, doing my thing, I'm like, yeah, this ain't your court. You good on the football field. This ain't no field. This a court. You know what I'm saying? I'm just popping it. Long and behold, bro, after a while of me popping it, he pushes me again, but this time he pushes me real hard. You feel me? And I went back like 2-3 steps. And I'm like, bro, I knew something was wrong with you, fool. Like, what's up with you, cuz? I knew it was really because I wouldn't front him no more. I knew that was really the case, but he made it seem like I was the problem. Like, it's cause I'm popping it or whatever the case like that. And it's like, bro, we all out here popping it. You feel me? We all friends though. At the end of the day, like, it should never come to blows if we really cool like that. This is what I'm thinking in my mind. So, he might have said something like, yeah, you popping it like a bitch, and you think I won't do this and do that. So I said, oh, okay. So I threw the ball at his head. When I threw the ball at his head, he charged at me, bro. He charged at me, and I ain't gonna cap. He hit me. He hit me with a good one. It wasn't just too good, cause I didn't bleed or nothing like that, but he hit me dead in my lip, fool. He hit me dead in my lip, cuz, and he was strong, little. He was strong, but his punches just wasn't that strong. I guess in whatever boxing he was learning, it didn't teach him to lean all the way in, or maybe he was scared I was gonna return fire. You know what I mean? So he hit me with a little jab real quick, and I was like, whoa, okay, so we doing this. You feel me? So everybody crowded around, and now we at the basketball court finna hit, bro. So I'm like, all right, do it again. If you think you bad, do it again. So I'll put my face out there. I'm like, do it again. I bet you won't. You feel me? So he swung on me again, and this time I backed up and bop and hit him twice. right? And mind you, I wasn't boxing back then. As I got older, I started boxing, but back then I didn't too much know nothing about boxing. I just fought a lot for the most part. So I don't know. I guess it was just reflex. He swung, I backed up and popped him twice. He's immediately bleeding off vert. Like his lip just started bleeding. So I'm like, all right, bro, we ain't gotta keep going, fool. Like you bleeding. I really kind of try to look at him like he was my little bro. Even though he was a year younger or he might have been a year older. I don't know. He just wasn't too much older than me. You feel me? So I try to kind of look at him like a little bro. So I'm like, all right, bro, you already bleeding, fool. We ain't even gotta keep it going. Of course, his pride was hit at that point, so he wanted to keep going, right? So he's swinging on me, cause I promise you, I didn't hit him not one more time. I didn't want to hit him not one more time. You feel me? He swung on me. He swung. He was swinging, and I'm dodging him. I always been good at just maneuvering. So I'm dodging him, and I remember, I remember one time he swung, and when I dodged it, I flicked his lip. On everything. I flicked his lip. I said, bro, you're bleeding right now, fool. I'm not finna hit you no more. You know what I'm saying? So when I did that, he just charged me and tried to tackle me. And he did. He tackled me, but y'all know how when somebody tackle you, they put their arm up under they put their head up under your arm. That was one of them situations. So I was able to grab his head and basically put him in the headlock as we was going down. So we went down backwards. He hit his head, and I just held on to his neck. I wasn't even trying to choke him out or anything like that, because like I told you, I had sympathy for the man. It wasn't like I just felt like I was just big and bad or anything like that. I actually looked at Shawty as a friend, but at this point it was like, oh nah, like your anger will probably won't allow you to be nobody friend. You know what I'm saying? This is one of them lessons I learned at a young age. Like everybody, you can't sympathize with everybody. You got anger issues. I probably should have did you in. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't. I just held him until he was ready to just chill. You feel me? So eventually he just stopped fighting and all that. We got up. I'm like, bro, if I let you up, you better not hit me, cuz straight up. Like I'm telling him. And so we both agreed not to hit each other. We got up and we walked home. Everybody walked home together. Everybody walked home together. Cuz didn't walk next to me. You know what I'm saying? He kind of walked faster than everybody else, so we wouldn't be walking together, but we all walked together, you know what I'm saying? Just like kids. And from that day on, bro, we wasn't cool no more. Like we was cool, don't get me wrong, because we seen each other around, but it was like, all right, now I know what you capable of. I know you a jealous person. I know you really ain't over that whole Noopy thing, what Chop did to your cousin, you feel me? But I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and distance myself. So that's exactly what I did. Like, you ain't getting nothing from me, period, no more. You feel me? I stopped selling to that man altogether, because it's like, at this point, I don't even want you in my business. I don't even want you knowing that I still do this or whatever the case like that. So fast forward, a couple days later, I'm done dealing with them folks. You know what I'm saying? Like his cousin, a couple of his cousins I still was cool with for the most part. Like they'll come over and see what I got going on or whatever. But I ain't never just allow it to go too far. Like if you hang with certain people, you gonna act certain ways. You feel me? And you hanging with your cousin and he act like that, I can't never trust none of y'all. I just kind of let that be that. So fast forward a couple days after that, I ended up going to Atlanta because I had to go re-up. I didn't have no more tree left. So I went to Atlanta. I caught the CCT. For those of y'all who don't know about the CCT, that's Cobb County Transit. Back then, it was like 80 cents, bro. It's always been cheaper than the MARTA. MARTA was like 175 back then. You feel me? So I hopped on the CCT, and that was always a long ride. Like, I was always going all day. Like, going to Atlanta on the CCT would take about 3 hours. 3-4 hours if we have a delay. Coming back, take another 2 to 3 hours. It was just a long process. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just always like that. So as I'm in Atlanta handling my business, I get a call, right? And I don't know if it was from Bam. I don't know who it was from, Justin or whoever. Come to find out, now people is, or not, I ain't even gonna necessarily say people, but it's a certain guy in the complex at this point who want an issue with Chop. Not only because of the Noopy situation, but because I guess Chop was walking around like he just was, or they felt like he was walking around like he just couldn't be beat. I think Chop might have tried to talk to his baby mama one time or something like that because, and I don't think I don't think he knew that was Shouty baby mama. You know, she was just one of the girls that came around the complex. You know, he tried to holler at her. So you know, this guy, they called him Champ. This guy, he added that onto his roster of reasons why not to like Chop. You feel me? You already done beat Noopy up. Now you walk around here acting like you somebody big, and then you done try to talk to my baby mama. Y'all know how niggas do, you know? So come to find out, he basically put it out there that he wanted to see Shawty. He wanted to see Chop. You feel me? So while I'm gone out there in Atlanta getting right, bro, Chop done walked around the corner. Cause these folks, bro, this man, Champ, the guy who wanted to fight Chop, he just so happened to be sitting at B House. The same guy that Noopy was house who he was sitting at on the same porch. So Chop went around the corner. He heard somebody wanted to holler at him, so he went around the corner. When he went around the corner, apparently this was the fight that the whole complex wanted to see, or the whole world wanted to see at this point, you know, because they call this man Champ because he's actually a boxer. He's a boxer and he was like undefeated, or he was like real good at fighting or something like that. So Chop come around the corner and he like, hey, where Champ at? So Shouty sitting up there, same place Noopy was sitting at. Yeah, he's sitting up there and he like, yeah, that's me. What's up? He like, I'm Chop. He like, oh, all right, say no more. Champ come downstairs. They square up right there in the middle of the complex. They ain't go back to the square. They didn't waste no time. None of that. I ain't gonna lie to you, Shouty. I ain't gonna lie to you. Chop, this is the first time Chop said, okay, you know, he had a little squabble to him. You know what I'm saying? Anybody else be kind of like easy work. You feel me? But Chop said, man, they was hitting. You feel? I wasn't there, but I can tell y'all what I heard. You know what I'm saying? And from the looks of how Chop looked, you know, he didn't necessarily get hit too many times. And Champ, he didn't want no issues after that. So it was like, I pretty much know how it went. You feel me? Just based off of that. But how the story goes is Champ came down there, and for a little second they was sitting there with their hands up, you know, and I guess trying to figure out who gonna go in first or whatever the case like that. I think Chop might have swung first. When he swung, he connected, but he also got hit. So at that point they started going blow for blow. You feel me? Champ might have hit Chop one good time and he stumbled a little bit, and that's when Chop felt like he had to get it together. After that point, it was like, all right, I gotta get in here. He got in there, brought the fight home after that. You know, hit him more times, because it wasn't like no situation where he beat him unconscious or you know, he did make him fall, but it wasn't no crazy situation. You know, Chop just ended up being the better fighter, you know, because Champ it wasn't like he couldn't fight, you know. But they end up stopping the fight. I think somebody came down there and stopped the fight or whatever, and they end up fighting again, you know, after somebody stopped it. And Chop got the best of them. They parted ways. We ain't never heard nothing else about Champ no more wanting no type of animosity or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? That was the end of that. So at this point, I'm headed back to the hood. Now, everybody is telling me what just happened, what just transpired, and all that like that, right? So I'm like, damn, man, I wish I was there. You know, I wish I could have seen that. You feel me? I forgot. One guy fought Chop before Champ was able to fight him, and Chop knocked him off his feet. So when Chop knocked him off his feet, that's when Champ came down there and started fighting. You feel me? So it was really kind of unfair. You know, I would have took one of those phases if I just so happened to be there, but I was handling business. So I get back to the spot. Chop ain't even tell me until I brought it up. You feel me? Like, it be stuff like that just be like regular to him. You feel me? So we end up chopping it up, and he telling me what happened and how, you know, Cuz gave him a little run. You feel me? But at the same time, he had to fight somebody before he fought that guy. So it was really like they cheated. You know what I mean? Like these folk play different in COD, fool, on everything. Like, These folks play different. Chop was out there fighting like Mortal Kombat, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Story mode. You know, story mode, you gotta keep fighting the same person. You gotta keep fighting different people with the same person. He just kept having to fight. Fast forward a couple days after that, bro. Crazy. Corey ends up calling me, and he like, I ain't over what happened. You know? So I'm like, okay, well I am. So what's the problem? He like, well listen, I want my ones, fool. Like, I can't let you get away with that. Now mind you, I have a rap on my hand because I had just put somebody down maybe a day or two before I got this phone call. I just put somebody down and I busted my whole hand up. Like, if y'all can see that knuckle right there. I busted my whole knuckle up, bro. It was wide open. You feel me? I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't get no stitches. I just was popping oxycodone or whatever that stuff is. So I got my hand wrapped up. So he like, yeah, and he knew I had my hand wrapped up because everybody know what I got going on in this complex. But he still wanted to try it. So he like, listen, I want that with you. You feel me? So I'm like, all right, bet, where you at? And he like, I'm at Osborne High School. I'm finna leave in a second, but you can meet me right around the corner at this location. So I'm like, all right, bet, cool. So mind you, remember I told y'all my house the spot. So everybody is hearing this phone call. Or if they didn't hear it, then I told them what was going on because I had to get up, walk out, and head to the location, right? So immediately, I'm telling Chop what's going on. Justin and Bam and all of them, I'm telling them what's going on, and they like, oh, nah, we not finna let you fight. Your hand already messed up. When I tell you my hand was bust all wide open, bro, it's crazy. So he like, your hand already messed up. We not finna let you fight. I'ma just handle that for you, straight up. So I'm like, man, it is what it is. I'ma go up there and I'ma do what I gotta do regardless. You feel me? Like, I don't need nobody trying to take my fade for me, you know? So he like, yeah, whatever, bro. Come on, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Just straight like that, you feel me? Now we trucking it, bro. We trucking it to Osborne High School. Now, remember I told y'all Osborne was like a mile away from Crescent Square. So we trucking it to Osborne High School. So we decided to go through a cut. Now we went through some cut in a like, it's not an apartment complex. It's like kind of like hotels, but they call it the Lodge. That was like the hood over there, like the projects over there, like kids and all that stuff used to stay over there, like the dope boys and all that, they used to stay over there so they can surf, so they can easily surf. You know, it was a lot of trap houses over there, right? As we're walking through the lodge to go meet up with these folks to fight with, because Corey has his cousins with him, right? Apparently his cousins is with him for reinforcement, or they want a one with certain people that I'm with also. Like, these folk done just flat out just turned on us, you know, like just out of nowhere. You know, I guess the fight me and Corey had didn't sit right with them. They went home, thought about it. They supposed to be some boxers, so they like, all right, listen, we need that again. So we like, all right, bet. So as we're passing through the lodge, which is the shortcut to get to Osborne High School, it's a group of people out there. It's a group of people. I guess they standing in front of their trap house or whatever like that. We passing through, and this group of people says something out the way, like, what y'all doing in our trap or something like that. So of course, now remember I told y'all, Chop is like that friend that always get you in some kind of trouble, but it's like you can't live with him, you can't live without him. You know what I'm saying? He one of them type people. You feel me? Like when you hang with this man, you gonna get into some kind of BS, but when you're not with him, you know, it ain't nothing too much going on. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's kind of boring, you know? So when they approached us like, what y'all doing in our trap? Chop like, listen, bro, I don't know what y'all talking about, but we just passing through here. If y'all don't want no problems, we don't want no problems. So I guess the guy who was running the trap, he looked at that as disrespect. So he said, oh, what you say, little nigga? You know, because they were some older guys. Mind you, we like 14, 15 years old. You know, the oldest might be 16. So Chop repeated it. He said, bro, listen, bro, if y'all don't want no issues, then we just trying to go on about our way. But if y'all do, I'll beat one of y'all up. Straight like that. Straight like that. Just told him straight up. You feel me? We in these folk trap. This man said, I'll beat you up. You know what I mean? And mind you, we are surrounded for the most part. This ain't our complex. You know, we a long way from home at this point. You know what I'm saying? We down the street, but we a long way from home. And this man just done challenged this man to a fight in his trap. You know? Buddy like, all right, I got something for that. He calls for one of his boys that's inside the house to come outside. When Buddy come outside, cuz had to been like 7 feet tall, 6'5" or something like that, 6'7" or something. He was 6'7". You feel me? Cuz was huge, you know. So he said, "Hey, one of y'all step out here and get with my little homie then." Mind you, he wasn't no little homie. He was probably just as old as that man. They had to been in their 30s, they late 20s or something like that. It's like, bro, y'all don't see the baby fat on our face. Like, we kids, fool. Like, but they didn't care, you know. They probably was strung out theyself. So Buddy stepped out there. So I go to step out, and Chop bagged me up, right? He pushed me back, and he like, I got it, bro. So Chop step out, fool. And mind you, Chop back then, he used to wear this blue KC hat everywhere he went. So he got on his blue KC hat, he pushed it to the back, and he stepped out there. When he stepped out there, he broke the tall guy down. Broke him down. I'm talking about cuz was every which way. You feel me? They end up starting trying to jump in. So now we all hitting. You feel me? I'm hitting with the only hand I got. You know? But luckily they just so happen to be some really weak older men. You feel me? They just so happen to be. You know, I don't think they was ready for fighting, or they grew up fighting, or I don't know what the case was. But luckily for us, they just so happened to be some weaker older men. Chop broke that man down. As he was breaking down and falling, like I told you, the short fat guy, he jumped in. Everybody started jumping in. Now we fighting. We full on fighting, bro. We full on fighting, and I don't remember what happened. I don't remember how it broke up. I don't know if somebody shot in the air or something like that. But when that fight ended up stopping, now we headed. We still, cause remember, we still got a fight to go to. We sitting here fighting in a whole nother complex when we got a fight to go to. We headed to a fight. I guess them folks just felt the energy on us. I don't know what it was. You feel me? It was like going through Zelda, bro. Like, we gotta go through this level, that level, that level. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just trying to get to where we going. You know what I mean? Like I said, I don't know how the fight ended up stopping. I think somebody might have shot in the air, something like that. And we just got off. You feel me? We got off, and we started headed towards the exit of the lodge. Remember, I told you it's a cut. So we came in through the side entrance, and now we trying to exit out, because right after the lodge, it's like another complex, and then it's Osborne. So when we passed through the lodge, I'm calling Shouty. I'm calling Corey. He picked up the phone. He like, yeah, we up here. So I'm like, all right, yeah, we like 5 minutes away. You feel me? We pulling up now, type stuff. He like, who is we? I'm like, it's me, such. You feel me? I don't know if Chop name spooked him, you know, or what the case was. But when we pulled up to that school, bro, nobody was there. Nobody was there. We even sat there and waited. Mind you, it's late at night at this point, because we just sat here fighting with these folks for the last 30 minutes. It was already late. It's after school. We done waited up there for about an hour or two. We called them 2, 3, 4 times. They not picking up the phone no more. They done stood us up. They didn't want no issue. And I'm guessing they didn't want no issue with Chop. You feel me? I guess they didn't know he was coming, you know? So we took that trail all the way back to the house, bro. We trailed it back to the house. Mind you, I didn't hear from them folks no more after that. Corey and his cousins and all that, I didn't hear from them folks no more after that. It was like they know they had went out bad, you know? But the next day, bro, we get a phone call. Hey, like, where Chop at? I give Chop the phone, and Chop get the booting up, get the suiting up. You feel me? He get the suiting up, putting his pants on, his shoes on, all that stuff like that. Remember, I told y'all he was living with us at the time. So he get to putting his pants on and all that, and he headed out the door. I'm like, bro, where you going? You feel me? He like, bro, come on. We got to go handle this business at the basketball court. Now, remember, I told y'all, Crescent Square had a basketball court. It just wasn't a real basketball court. It was in the front of the complex. It just had a goal. The goal was leaning, you know what I'm saying? But folks used to come over there to play basketball sometime. It was really mainly for the folks in the complex. So I'm like, all right, bet. I'm suited. I'm getting suited up. So we head to the basketball court. Bro, tell me why. Remember I told y'all when we got into the fight at the lodge and things got rowdy. When things got rowdy, Chop ended up losing his KC hat, his blue KC hat. Remember I told y'all he got the fight and he pushed it to the back. Once we got into the full fight, he ended up losing his hat. It fell down somewhere on the ground and we just pushed it without it. We just said forget it. I don't even think we noticed it, right? So we just got a phone call basically saying, hey, meet us at the basketball court in Crescent Square. The basketball court in Crescent Square, I can pretty much see it from my apartment. Like if I look out my window, I could almost see it. Feel me? Almost, not all the way. So Chop get booted up, I get suited and booted, and we head outside, bro. Tell me why when we get up there, bro, it's the two main guys from the lodge that are at the basketball court right now, and the big tall guy that Chop broke down. Tell me why he got on Chop hat, bro. He got on Chop hat and he want round 2, fool. Straight up, they done came all the way to our hood. Now they want round 2, and he got Chop hat on. Bro, y'all already know what happened. You feel me? But listen. Y'all drop Trap 11 so we can go into Trap 11, man. And I'm going to give y'all that whole story. It don't get nothing but real, honestly. It don't get nothing but realer as the story goes on. We ended up shooting that fade. I got to tell y'all how that fade went. Then I ended up catching a new plug because my old plug ended up going to jail. And a lot of stuff transpired after that. But hey, y'all drop Trap 11, man. I appreciate everybody who been liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting, and all that. And I love y'all for life, man. Until next time, 100.